Good morning, early birds. Let me figure out my recording here, and then I also have to get a water. But look at me. Look at me. I'm pretty close to on time. So, early birds, I just want you to know, I cut my lemon in half. I cut it in half again, and then in half again. And that's how I always get my lemon for my water. I keep my bottles of water cold because I like cold water a lot. And then I squeeze my lemon in there. I have filtered water. I always use filtered water. I don't trust what they're doing to the water around here. Do you? I do not. Another thing about the lemon, early birds, lemon is a great cleanser. So use it on your hands. Watch how it actually whitens your nails. Yeah, it does. It's a great nail whitener. And then, you might know this, but because I am not a big water drinker, I always add a little stevia in my water, which is a little sweetener. But this sweetener, you might not know, is very, very concentrated, very, very sweet. I only put a few drops in my water. But here's the thing. It doesn't raise your sugar levels. So it doesn't contribute to diabetes relative to the high level of sweetness that you get. So let's get going on this. Yeah, let's just get going. So we talked last week about knowing your nouns. So again, I started to say, if you don't remember, it doesn't matter, because as we move along, you can see I don't remember as it is either. Yeah, there goes my spook light over here. Okay, know your nouns. And we talked about nouns, didn't we? We already talked about nouns. So we're going to review on our worksheet a little bit. But what we're going to do is I want to go through to make sure that I get through our chalkboard lesson, and then we're going to start piecing things together. Remember that we also talked about, so nouns are what? Person, place, or thing, right? We talked about that, and we did a pretty good job with our worksheets, and we still have some coming up. Pronouns are noun substitutes, and we also talked about those. So here I am going to bring those up. So here are our nouns, right? And we've got proper nouns, which is the name of a special or specific person, place, or thing. We have, you can see we have got abstract nouns. Look at that. A thing like love, or a thing like imagination. Those are nouns too. This noun poster is just fantastic for us because it shows us a lot of variety in people, places, and things. We have collective nouns, so that groups, right? It shows us groups. A group is a thing, isn't it? A group is a thing, and so is a team, or a family, or a herd, or a bunch, or a swarm. All of those are things as well. We have, compared to abstract nouns are nouns that we can't put our fingers on. That's what it is. We can't touch them. Abstract nouns are nouns that we cannot touch. But concrete nouns, those are nouns that we can touch. So, just like we have there, table. I don't know why I made that smaller, so you could see me. Because now I can't read it. Sure I can. Door, plane, chimney, friend, teacher, glass, disc, phone, book, light, picture, flowers, seeds, books. All of those things are concrete nouns. They're concrete nouns because they are nouns that we can touch. Compound nouns. Compound nouns. Compound nouns are like compound words, aren't they? Right? So tooth, paste, toothpaste, right? So those are both nouns, tooth and paste. It's a compound noun. It's a compound word. Two words that are put together to form one new word. Output, suntan, childhood, iceberg. And then we have pronouns below. Pronouns take the place of nouns. I want to take a close-up look at our pronoun poster. There you can see we have personal pronouns. They describe a person. He, she, I, me, right? And we also put him, her in there as well. They describe a person. They take the place of a person. Jim, he drove to the store, right? Although we wouldn't put those two together like that, right? Jim drove to the store. He used his mother's car, right? Okay. Then we have indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns, they describe an unclear noun. An unclear noun, right? We're not exactly sure who we're talking about. We're not talking about someone specific. An indefinite or something specific, like this glass bottle, right? Like a bottle. That's something specific. But when we talk about everyone or everything, those are indefinite pronouns. Anybody, something, somebody, none, nobody, nothing. Those are all indefinite pronouns. And we talked about those in a couple weeks ago. We introduced indefinite pronouns when we talked about that tip. Okay? So this is, kind of a review. Not kind of, it is. And then we talked about forming plurals. And this is where we left off last Wednesday. We were here Wednesday instead of Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday last week. And so that was day 54. I left day 54 up there as a reminder for the plurals that we talked about. So when we're forming plurals, more than one, right? When we're making a singular word, more than one, what do? Most plurals are formed by adding an S to the singular form of the word. And there we have examples. We talked about those last week. When a singular noun ends in CH, SH, S, SS, or X, we add an ES to form the plural. So the singular form is church. The plural form is churches. And I would like to tell you that I did put together a new sight word list. Did I put plural on there? Tell me I put singular and plural on there. No, I didn't on that one. Do I have singular and plural somewhere? Yes, I do. Here. So I don't know why I wish my arrow, whatever, my cursor would show up, but my cursor doesn't show up. So it's the second to the last row, we have plural there. Second to the last row, all the way to the left. And the third to the last row, all the way to the right, we have singular. So singular and plural, right? So singular, one, plural, more than one. I added some new sight words as long as we're here. Here are some new sight words. These are trees and flowers. Because yesterday, remember what I suggested yesterday? I suggested that you take some pictures of some trees, look at some leaves, and even some flower names there because I had to fill up another sight word sheet. So I filled it up with some flowers. I remember learning how to spell flowers when I was some flower names like dandelion when I was very young. I forgot how to spell it though. I thought it was L-I-N-E, and it's not. It's lion, dandelion, L-I-O-N at the end, right? So I have some flowers there, so some new sight words there as well. But don't forget what we're talking about. Singular and plural words, right? So singular, one, plural, more than one. Check out some more sight words. Remember, what do we do with our sight words? We're just awesome with our sight words is what we are. Love that reminder. With our sight words, that helps us read. Some of those are more difficult words to read. Some of them are irregular. Some of them are hard to sound out. But some of them are really just fun words to learn, right? And the more sight words that we learn, the better readers we will become. All right? So I also have a lot of those singular and plural words in those sight words that we were learning here on day 54. When a noun ends in Z, double the Z and add ES. Now, a lot of these rules seem like, oh my gosh, another rule. When a noun ends in Y, preceded by a consonant. We talked about what preceded means, didn't we? All day long, and the next day, I was using the word preceded, and I said, if you don't know what it means, go back to the early bird classroom. That's what I kept saying. Preceded comes before, right? Comes before. So I want to read the words. Preceded by a consonant, change the Y to an I and add ES, right? And then there are some examples that I gave you. And it's a really good idea to see if you can't think of some more examples and find out if you're right. Like fly, flies, right? So figure out a word that ends in Y. We did have Y words a while ago when we were talking about phonics on Wednesdays. We did. So the Y sound, right? Remember, we had baby and spy, the Y sound, right? So spy would be spies, S-P-I-E-S, right? Why? Because a consonant, P, precedes the Y, comes before. P is a consonant that comes before the Y. Remember what we had, don't forget that we had, well, our ABC song, I'm trying to think if I should pull this up, and I probably do have it, but what I ended up doing actually is I ended up, oh, there's our noun poster. That's good. We had prefixes and suffixes. What I ended up doing was moving a lot of these around, organizing my files, and now I don't know for sure if I even know what I'm looking for. I know that I do, but not at this moment. Now I do. Yeah, I'm surprised. Oh, There we go. There we go. There's our consonants. There are all of our consonants. That's what I was looking for. And I remembered. There are all of our consonants. So we took out our vowels. So when one of those letters up there, one of those consonants, come before a Y, we change that Y to I and add ES. See how we spend a lot of time reviewing? You know why? Because we have a whole lifetime of learning. I'm going to put these together and we are just going to keep moving on, learning more, learning more. So it doesn't matter. We really want to try and understand it, and we'll be reviewing as well, just like we're taking a lot of time to review right now. This is the last slide that we left off with on day 54. So here, and if you recall, what I was saying is you could hear the sounds. So even though this is a rule, I was listening to hear if that was rain or not. So even though this is a rule, right, you don't really have to memorize this rule that when, in some words, when it ends with F or FE, you change the F to V or VE. You don't have to memorize that rule because you can sound it out. Leaf. I can hear leaf, leaf. I'm not sure what the vowel is after the E. I can hear the E. And I know when two vowels go walking, the first one does the talking. I know the E is a long vowel because it's saying its own name. We've talked about this in other early bird classes. If you feel a little lost, start with number 1. Don't worry about taking your time. Because remember, I have 52 days, but it's only 1 hour of early bird on 57 days. 57 days, but it's only 1 hour of early bird, right? So you can get that done in, just a little bit over a work week. Little child labor laws, get to work. It's school, it's not work. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it? It's school, it's not work. Tell a child that, right? It's work, isn't it? You have homework. It is work, isn't it? And I do think that children need to discover a little bit more. I'm really happy with this classroom being 3 days. And I hope that you are exploring and doing your summer boredom busters. I hope that you are doing those. We haven't read our new summer boredom busters this week. We're going to have to do two next week, I think. I want to keep up with our phonics. I'm a little bit slow this morning. Some plural nouns use special forms. So these are, you can consider these kind of irregular plurals, although you can see there's a lot of irregular plurals, aren't they, right? Ends in CH, ends in X, ends in S, ends in double S, add an ES. It seems like there are a lot of special circumstances for making singular nouns plural nouns, right? People, places, things are the things that can be singular or plural. They are nouns that we make singular or plural. So, for these special forms, child becomes children, foot becomes feet, mouse becomes mice, ox become oxen, tooth become teeth, and all woman becomes women, and of course man becomes men, right? Figure if you know how to spell woman, you know how to spell man. If you know how to spell women, you know how to spell men. All of those words are also on our sight words list. So you can email me at Dr. Feravich, Dr. F as in Frank, ERA, V as in Victor, ICH, at healthymindbodyspirit.net. And I'll go and put that up there right now, actually. So if you are looking for any of those worksheets or any of those sight words, there is my email down below. Dr. Feravich, F as in Frank, ERAV as in Victor, ICH, at healthymindbodyspirit.net. You can have an adult help you get that email out to me, and we will get you whatever worksheets that you need. I have a lot of them. Tell me what your problem is, and I'll get you some worksheets if you need. All right? So don't forget to email me there. Don't forget to check out my website as well, www.healthymindbodyspirit.net. Pause it there because we're going to move to the other camera. Camera 2! Thank you. So check out those sight words. Ask me about those sight words. Okay? And all of those plurals, as I said, are in that sight word list. Some plurals are the same in both singular and plural forms. So you could have 1 deer or 10 deer. You could have 1 moose or 10 moose. You could have 1 sheep or 10 sheep. You could have 1 fish or 10 fish. Not fishes. Okay, so those are also on your sight words list. They're not there in singular and plural form. They're just there in one form. Do you know why? I think you do. Tip number 14 from our 101 tips for grammar tips, right? Verbs express an action or state of being. Verbs express an action or state of being. Some verbs show action, all right? So we said an action or a state of being. Run, jump, climb, swim, cross, snag, push, sew, enter, skip, love, harness, ride, saw, bark, scamper, pay. Did you notice that love was a noun and a verb? Did you know that? I love you. That's an action, isn't it? I love you. It's an action. What's I in that sentence? What is I in that sentence? A pronoun, right? A pronoun that replaces a noun. Dr. Feravich. I love who? You. You is the object of my love. We're going to talk about that later. But that's just a little bell for you. Since I said I love you, I'm going to give you like a little bell there. And that means it's going to get rung when I remind you a little bit later on. That bell's going to get rung. All right, not in the bad way, like ring your bell. No. In a good way. It's going to be a reminder. All right? So I love you. Love is the action verb. But it can be a noun, right? I have love. I have a lot of love to give. That's a noun. I have a lot of what? Love to give. That's a noun. So some words can be nouns and verbs. And they can be other things too, right? Like if I said loving mother, that's an adjective, actually. But it's not the word love, is it? Well, loving is not the word love. Although loving is a verb. I know. It is the reason that they say the English language is the hardest language to learn. And you can see the reasons why. All those rules with plural words just to make a noun more than one. That's it. Then we have to do all that, all those acrobatics just to make a noun more than one. Well, look on the bright side. When you learn it, you've learned the hardest language in the world to learn. And it came pretty easy to you, didn't it? You didn't even know. You didn't even know you were learning the hardest language in the world. Wish I had my coffee. I do. Somebody put a bubble up above my head. No! You can't make shorts on my videos because I know what you're doing with them. You're not being very nice sometimes. Not the early birds, though. You guys are being really good. Some other people over there. Some other people. Other people. You know who you are. All right, so do you get the idea that verbs, there are some action verbs? Can you think of some action verbs? Let's look at this worksheet. So here on this worksheet, and you don't need this worksheet to do it. You could just find a piece of paper that might be lying around, right? Or a tablet or something like that might be lying around. Or you can even use your scratch pad on your phone. That might be a really good idea to try too. So, singular nouns, person, place, or thing. Plural nouns, person, place, or thing. And in fact, let me just take a peek over here. Okay, I wanted to find a couple other special ones that I had up there. So here is a worksheet that will show you common or proper nouns. So we've been talking about this, right? We've been talking about what is a common noun. It is the name of a person, place, or thing. And a proper noun is a specific person, place, or thing. So there we have the word tent. Tent is not specific. So tent is a common noun. Japan is the name of a specific place. So we know Japan is a proper noun. So for each one of those, that's what you want to do. You want to take a look at, is that word considered a common noun, a person, place, or thing? The example is up there: car, tree, house, or girl. And the proper noun is the name of a particular person, place, or thing, like Mr. Smith, the Robinson School, San Francisco. Look at the words below and label them as common or proper nouns. So metal, rug, Mrs. Cooper, frozen yogurt, Statue of Liberty, paintbrush, handbag, girl, the Philippines, shirt, helicopter, and the Golden Gate Bridge. One thing to remember is that proper nouns need to be capitalized. And so we can see there that proper nouns were capitalized. And so it was much easier to tell there which nouns were proper nouns and which nouns were common nouns, because the proper nouns, like Japan there, was capitalized. So that makes it, again, easier for us to be able to tell what is going on. All right, so here we can do singular and plural nouns. Here we are telling if this is a noun or a verb. Remember, verbs are our action, right? Verbs show action. So there in that worksheet, we can determine, is it a person, place, or thing, or is it an action? Okay, I think that's good for today. I want to, there wasn't a whole lot of new information, but there is a whole lot of good practice information for you on these worksheets. So noun or verb, fill in the verb, special plurals that we talked about. So using these words where we have one, we already talked about most of those, but there's a couple new ones in there, right? Bison, sheep, moose, salmon, seaweed. So take a look at each one of those sentences, and it helps because they also have pictures there. The idea here for you is that you want to try and memorize those words. It's not that you can't tell that you need a picture because you don't know the difference between seaweed and a moose. I'm sure you do, right? But what it helps you practice doing is seeing the words, sight words. It helps you practice looking at those irregular, singular, and plural nouns. All right? And then the last one was the one that I spent so much time looking for, common or proper nouns. That will really give you a great big jump start on all of the things that we've learned in grammar so far. And we haven't learned everything about verbs. So don't worry about what you haven't learned about verbs or about subjects and nouns. What? What did she say? Subject? What did she say? Did she say subject? I don't even know what she's talking. What is she even talking about now? Just be awesome. Is that her answer for everything? I'm so confused. No, there's just a short little bit that we learned today. We learned a lot about plurals, right, last Wednesday in our phonics class. We learned a little bit about plurals, but it made us remember, so we know a lot about plurals now, don't we? We know a lot about singulars and plurals that I bet you're kind of surprised you know that much. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. That is my job because I'm the teacher. You're here in the classroom. Thank you so much for following. Make sure that you like, make sure that you subscribe, and make sure that you email me if you're looking